Hello everyone. Welcome to Uniglad's Education Hub and Consultancy. Today we'll be looking at command prompt, which is CMD in Windows, right? Um, we'll basically look at the basics that will just get you started with CMD, right? So we'll look at the definition of CMD. Say when we are talking about CMD, what are we really talking about? We'll look at the importance of using CMD. We'll go on to look at the disadvantages of CMD. Then, lastly, we'll look at some of the commands that you'll be using, right? That you need to know uh, before starting uh, uh, before starting to use command prompt, right? So yeah, so what is command prompt? So command prompt is a text-based interface, right, provided by an operating system or software application that allows users to interact with the system by entering text commands, right? So what you need to know that is that we have a lot of user interfaces. A good example is GUI, which is graphical user interface, and which I'm using right now. So this is GUI, which allows you to interact with the computer or the system by using the cursor or the pointer and the icons that I'm seeing here, right? So I can give the commands or instruct the computer to do whatever I want by moving around here. So I can grab a pen, right? Just like that. Huh? So that's GUI exactly, right? Or I can create a folder here. Okay, sorry. Um, I can create a folder here, right? And then I can instruct the computer that I want to go inside here. So I can just double click that, right? I'm inside here. So that's GUI exactly. You interact with the icons, right? With the using, you can hover around using the cursor, yeah, all sorts of stuff, right? So it's more of graphical, right? But if we go to command prompt, it's just another way of providing commands to the computer or the system, but it is text based, right? What you need to know, it is text based. You enter uh, those commands through text, right? So you just like you type something, right? So you can enter into a folder. You can enter into this folder by providing um, a text-based command, right? So that's all about command prompt, right? So there is this important part that you need to know. Uh, the thing is, since we are providing the text to the computer to tell to instruct it to say we want to do this, right? It doesn't matter that those texts are in uppercase or lowercase, right? It doesn't matter, right? So that's why we say command prompt is case insensitive, right? It doesn't matter if the commands are in uppercase or lowercase, right? So that's another important part that you need to know, right? Moving on, let's go to the importance of using CMD. So CMD uses fewer system resources, right? What are these resources that we're talking about? Right? So we have the main memory or uh, the computer processor, right? So uh, CMD is not heavy on the machine, right? Unlike GUI, GUI is heavy on the machine, right? And just because it uses fewer system resources, it makes it efficient, right? In terms of using those resources, right? So that's why you can like to use CMD, right? And also CMD, it is used for debugging or troubleshooting some software or some devices. So for example, you can have a misbehaving USB, right? You can troubleshoot it by formatting it using CMD, or even doing a lot of stuff, because CMD provides us with a lot of tools that can be used for debugging or troubleshooting programs, or other devices, external devices, right? And also CMD is more secure, right? So it is secure. What do we mean by that? So CMD, uh, you can use CMD to protect the file from other users. It's much possible, right? You can use CMD to hide a file from other users, unauthorized users. That's much possible, right? So CMD, you can even dive deeper than that, right? So that's why CMD is more secure, right? And moving on with that, let's look at the disadvantages of CMD. So it says that it requires the user to have prior knowledge of the command and its outcome. Okay. What do we mean by that? CMD has a lot of commands, right? And each command has its own output, right? So if you're a beginner, you cannot just type anything on the window and expect something to happen. No, you need to have a prior knowledge of each and every command and its outcome, right? You need to know that if I type this command, what will be the outcome? If I do this, what will be the outcome, right? So you need to have a prior knowledge of all of that. And mind you, we have a lot of commands outside here. We have a lot of commands, right? So it makes it hard for you to have all that prior knowledge of all those commands, right? So that can be a disadvantage, right? Because um, you need to have that prior knowledge of all those commands and this outcome, their outcomes. I mean, right? And the other thing is that the user interface. I mean, the interface is not user friendly when compared to GUI system. So GUI has already said you can enter into this folder by just clicking it like that. So it's, if you ask me, that's an easy way of doing it. I like to give the system the command by typing text, right? By just double clicking that, it's much easier than just typing, than giving the commands through text, right? So yeah, so that's why we say it's not user friendly compared to GUI, right? Okay. So at this point, you might be asking, say, so how can we get started with CMD? How can we open CMD, right? It's easy. Actually, I'll show you two ways on how you can do that, right? So first of all, you can um, you can press the Windows key button, right? And then you can search for CMD, and there you go. You see, so you can open it like that, or you can learn as an administrator, right? If you choose this option, it's just the same as this one, but only that this one has more privilege, right? But anyway, I'll open it like that. Right? See, so there we go, right? So we open the CMD. Right here, you can type those commands that you know, right? Whatever commands like cd, let's go to desktop, right? All those commands, right? That you can type them there, right? You can also open it. I'll close it like that. So you can also open CMD by pressing the Windows key button plus R at the same time. So if I press the Windows key button plus R, it gives me that run window, right? So right here, you can type CMD, right, and then press OK, right? So you can see that I'm into this window again, right? So you may be asking, what is all this, right? What is all this? So a simple question is, a simple answer is, this is just a path, right? Actually, you can go to this path by going to File Explorer, So if I go to logo drive C, you can see I have users here, right? So let me just minimize that. Let me put it there. So you see, I have users here, and also I have users here. So I can open users, right? After that, I can go to Munta, right? So you can see in this folder, I have all these folders, right? I have all these folders and files, right? The same with this, right? I am in this drive C, this folder, users, and then the Muntaz folder, right? So I can display all this by typing dir on CMD. So if I type dir, you can see that I have access to all those files here, right? So you can see I have desktop here, I have documents, I have downloads. Here again, I have the desktop, um, documents, downloads, yeah, so on and so forth. All those files that are here are also here. So this is just a path, the same as here, right? So if I click here, you can see this path is just like this path, right? Yeah. So that's what I wanted to show you. So if I go back to the slides, let's look at the commands now. So I've prepared for you some simple commands that will get you started um, um, when you want to start using CMD, right? So the first command is CLS, which stands for clear screen, right? So basically, that's what it does. It clears the screen. Right now, my screen is occupied, right? There are a lot of stuff. How can I clear all this? So what I can do, I can go here, see, and then I can type CLS. If I do that, you can see my window is all cleared up, right? So that's the use of CLC. It's, it's just to clear the screen, right? And then I have this CD, which stands for change directory. So one can be asking, what is the meaning of directory, right? So easy. I'll go to desktop. You see here I have this folder, right? So this is lane folder, right? But I can also call it lane directory, right? Because it is a directory. So say that a directory and a folder, they're just the same, right? You can call it a directory or you can call it a folder. So if I say cd, I mean change folder or change directory, right? So cd allows you to go into a directory, to go back, right? It allows you to go straight to the root, to the drive, straight to the drive folder, right? Also, all of that. So first of all, let's look at uh, this command, right? What does it do? So it is cd, then the name of the folder. So this allows you to go into a folder, right? It allows you to go into a folder. Right now, I want to go into documents, so I type cd documents, right? Let's try to do that, right? Um so if I type dir again, you can see I have documents here, right? This is a folder. How can I go into this folder? So I'll type cd, then documents, just like that. So if I type that, that means I am into the what? The documents, right? The documents folder, I mean, right? If I want to go back, I can type cd dot, right? Which is the one that I've written here. So it's cd dot dot. So this allows you to go back a folder. So if I do that, you can see I am back here. If I want to go, because if that means I'm back here, I can display all these and I can go into this folder again, right? Desktop. So I can type cd desktop, right? And I can display all the files and directories that I have in desktop folder, right? So by typing dir, if I do that, you can see I have this len folder, right, on the desktop. You can see it's just the same as this one, and all these applications and this folder is called Zulu. I can show you. Uh, it's this one, right? Zulu. Yeah, yeah. So that's all about CD. It allows you to go into a folder or go back a folder, or even just go straight uh to the drive now, right? So let me demonstrate that, right? So again, go straight to C drive C by typing C then backslash. If I do that, you can see sorry I'll go straight to drive C, right? If I type dir, I'll list all the folders that I have just below the drive C, right? So I have users, I have Windows, I have XAMPP. If I go to GUI, I can go straight to drive C. You see, I have all these folders that I've just displayed here in CMD. If I do that, you can see that I have users here, I have users here, I have Windows, I have XAMPP, just the same thing, right? So that's all about CD. And then I have dir. So you've noticed that I was using dir. So dir is used to display a list of files and directories in the current directory, right? So dir actually is just used to display what we have in the current directory, right? For example, I used it here, right? I used it here when I was in this current directory, which is desktop. I used dir. You see, it displayed for me all those files and documents that I have in this folder, right? Yeah. So that's about dir, and then we have make directory, right? Which is also MD, which stands for make directory. Right? So MK is for make, is for make, and dir is for directory. AM is for make, D is for directory. Right? So we can make a directory by simply typing this command. So if you type MD and then the name of the folder that you want to create, it will instantly create that folder for you. For example, let's try to do that with this folder. I'll delete it. I've deleted it, right? Okay, so I've deleted it. Um, I'll go to desktop. Right now I'm not in desktop, right? Okay, here I'm here, right? But I want to go to desktop. So I'll go to users, I'll go to Munta, and then I'll go to desktop, right? So let me do that in CMD. How can I do that? So I'll type cd users, then I'll type cd uh, Munta, then I'll type cd, then desktop, right? And then I'll clear the screen, right? Yeah. So how can I make a directory? So I'll make a directory by typing mkdir, right? Then type, okay, first of all, let me display if I have that directory. So you can see I don't have that directory, the len directory, the len folder, right? So I'll type mk make directory, which directory, len. If I type dir to display all that I have in this directory, you can see I have this folder now, len, right? And if I go to GUI, you see I have len here, right? So that's how you can make a directory. So you can use this command or this command. It will do the same thing. Next, it is ren, which stands for rename, right? So we can rename a directory. How can we do that? So we type ren and then we specify the directory that we want to change, sorry, and then we specify the name, the new name that we want to give to that directory, right? So let's change learn this directory to learn CMD, right? So it's easy. How can we do that? Let me just clear the screen. So I can type ren, then learn, then I'll type learn CMD. If I display all the uh, list, you can see learn has changed from uh, learn to learn CMD. If I go to desktop, you can see here, right? So it's learn CMD, just like that, right? Okay, so that's renaming a directory, but also you can delete a directory. You can remove a directory. So how can we do that? Right? So I will remove this directory, right, using CMD. So you just need to specify this command, which is rmdir for remove. So you remove or delete a directory. How? So it's dir, then learn. Okay, so it's rmdir, then the name of the directory that you want to remove or delete. Okay, so on desktop, I have this directory or folder, and I'll delete it or remove it using CMD. So how do I do that? So I'll type um, remove directory, right? Which directory? Learn CMD. If I do that, you can see it's gone, right? And here, if I type dir, you can see it's gone, right? So that's how you can remove a directory. But let's say you have a directory or a folder inside another folder. How can you remove all that at once? So I'll give you an example. I have I'll recreate this len folder, and then inside this folder I'll create another folder. Sorry. Okay, I'll create another folder called nested. Right. So we have this folder inside len folder. So can we remove this whole folder containing this folder inside it at once? Can we do that? Let me try. So I'll clear the screen. I'll type rmdir, then type learn. If I do that, you can see it complains. It says the directory is not empty. So how can we remove a directory that has files or other stuff in it, right? For example, this directory has the nested folder, right? So how can we remove that at once, right? So that brings us to this command, right? So it is rmdir, and then there is /s, and then /q, then you specify the name of the folder that you want to remove. So you can be asking to say what is the meaning of /s. So /s, it means that we are removing all the files or directories that are inside that folder, right? So that's the meaning of /s. What about /q? So /q is just to suppress the outcome, or the okay, like the prompt that is given to us, because you ask, are you sure, do you want to really delete this folder, right? So if we don't want to display that prompt, or that question to ask, we can just type um, what sq, right? So it will not ask us to say, are you sure, do you want to delete this folder? So you place Y for yes, N for no, right? So, but you can just remove that step by typing uh, /Q. So directly it will just remove it. So let's try to do that. Right. So I'll type RMDIR and then /S and then /Q. Sorry, and then type the name of the folder that um, we want to remove. So it is learn, right? So you can see automatically it does that. And if you type dir, you can see that we don't have uh, that folder inside here, right? So yeah, you can the other question that I want to tackle here is that what if if we want to make a directory, but that directory has two words. So let's say you want to make a directory that says hello there, right? So can we do that? So I type so the way to do that is by uh so I'll show you is by doing mkdir and then you you specify the directory that you want to make. So it's hello there, right? Right. So the proper way of creating a directory that has two words, you put that that name or the directory in double quotes. So you surround it with double quotes like that, right? So if I type okay, and if I go to the desktop, you can see hello there. Right? So that's how you do or interact with the directory that has two words, right? Just like that. Or you can continue there to specify other words here, but just make sure that the name of the directory is in double quotes, right? So yeah. So whenever you are interacting, right, or removing a directory with that a directory that has two words, you do the same, right? So you surround the name with the double quotes, right? All right. Um, having looked at that, so how do we quit? How do we exit? Right? A lot of people will just click here, right? But you can make it to look professional, right? You can make it to look professional. How can you do that? Right? So you can type exit, right? Just like that. If you type exit, you close it. So that's how you can close command prompt. So this marks the end of our video, right? You can subscribe to our channel on YouTube, right? So it's Uniglad Education Hub and Consultancy on YouTube. You can also find us on Facebook. Just search Uniglad Education Hub and Consultancy, right? So you can find more videos on those channel and page, right? You can also find us on TikTok, right? At Uniglad's Edu Hub, right? Yeah. So I hope you liked this video, right? I hope you've learned something, right? Thank you for your time. See you in the next videos.